Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back. I am back with part 3 of What If Deku Had a Curse and Bless Quirk. Of course, I want to bring this up. I don't think I brought this up in a video. I've been kind of doing every other day uploads. That's what we're probably going to do for a little bit. Normally, I go daily, but I want to try this out for a little bit. I might have brought this up last episode, but I honestly don't remember. Nonetheless, I wanted to say that really quick. That is why we're not getting episodes every single day. Normally, that's kind of what it is. But yeah, I'm not going to waste that much more of your time. And we're just going to get right back into the what if. Let's get it. Deku begins to stand in front of the entire group of villains. But they're all down for the count already. Shigaraki, someone that Izuku already reveals that he knows exactly who he is. How did Izuku even figure this out? What's going on? The heroes up there, Aizawa, Pro Hero 13, begin to question what even is occurring. How did Izuku know who this is? Does Izuku have some correlation to this person? Izuku begins walking toward Shigaraki, but just as he does, the giant monster known as the Nomu appears in front of him. The Nomu throws a punch at Izuku, and his arm disappears in an instant within this black cloud of mist. Izuku would dodge out, grab onto the Nomu's arm, and hip toss the Nomu across the USJ. His power is overwhelming at this point. Izuku's curse powers are overflowing, and he continues to walk toward Shigaraki. Shigaraki doesn't know what the hell is happening. It's as if a demon, a monster, some demonic creature is stalking right in front of him. Izuku continues barreling forward, the Nomu coming crashing in, landing a blow to Izuku as he gets sent to the side away from Shigaraki. Shigaraki looks toward Kurogiri, and Kurogiri asks if he wants to leave. But Shigaraki says no, not yet, not just yet. He wants to wait this out. He wants to see who the hell this kid truly is. Izuku would get up, and this monster figure, basically shrouded in mist, would walk back toward the Nomu. The Nomu would chase after Izuku, but would get slammed into the ground in a matter of seconds as it begins to twitch around and twitch everywhere, and then begins to scream in pain. This Nomu begins to be absorbed within this cloud of darkness, and Izuku begins to just get up and walk towards Shigaraki once again. Izuku then stands in front of Shigaraki, and Shigaraki tries to grab him, but his hand goes straight through him. The mist, or the dark black mist, surrounds all of them, including Kurogiri, and Izuku stands within it right next to the both of them. I can feel the pain in both of you. You especially, Shigaraki. And this one, Kurogiri, the one that helps you. He's dead. How is he standing? Izuku acts as if he's some brand new person. The curse quirk has now taken over and is now basically absolving his personality. Izuku though knows that he needs to bring his blessed quirk to balance out his strength and to not lose complete control over his quirk. Izuku stares toward Shigaraki and then reaches out toward him. Shigaraki grabs his arm, but his quirk isn't working. Izuku is not dying. Izuku begins to have this aura, this white aura, surround both Shigaraki and Kurogiri, and Izuku can feel all of the pain that they felt. But Shigaraki's face and Kurogiri's face begin to look complete and utterly shocked. What's going on? What the hell is he doing? Shigaraki begins to calm down. He sits on the floor and looks toward Izuku as if there's some magical person in front of him. Kurogiri begins to basically twitch. He passes out on the ground, and out of nowhere, the mist that would normally surround Kurogiri, what thought to be his body, now disappears. And now it's someone else. Someone that was known by UA and known by Aizawa. But before he would even be seen, Izuku would begin to tamper with the mind of Shigaraki. But in a way, how would you call this tampering? It's different. Izuku is reaching out, reaching his hand out. Immediately, Shigaraki is as if he's looking into a void, but he's seeing something within his own head. A young Izuku going through hell and back, watching his mother die shortly after his 10th birthday, and many other things that he dealt with through his life, but at the same time still helping others. Shigaraki watches as this young Izuku walks up to himself in this younger version of himself, and reaches out a hand and says that he's sorry that he couldn't help him, that he wasn't there, but he's here now and he can help him right as they speak. Immediately, Shigaraki's whole mind and whole world begins to brighten up and then disappear. He would pass out as well, and Shigaraki would feel and see something that he hasn't seen in a long time, and that would be hope. He would see this hope that Izuku has given so many other kids, so many other people, in a matter of seconds. The dark cloud that surrounds Izuku and everybody else that was in the vicinity begins to dissipate. Everybody watches on, and Aizawa sees the guy, the man that is laying on the ground next to Shigaraki, and Izuku looks over toward them, saying that they might need some help to get them out of here. Just as he says this, All Might comes crashing into the USJ, saying, "I am here." But Izuku has already handled the incident. The Nomu is down for the count, and it seems like the other two are, well, reformed? He's not sure, but he can only hope that his power was enough. He begins to walk toward Aizawa and the rest of them, and Aizawa is about to lecture him about why he shouldn't do something so drastic, but just as he's about to talk, he not only sees Oboro on the ground, but he sees Izuku, the young boy that just did all of this, pass out and almost fall and slam his head on the ground as well. So he grabs him, makes sure that All Might has him and basically safe, and they allow him to head over to Recovery Girl. Izuku would lay there for a while. Minutes would become hours, and hours would become days. And it would feel like he would never wake up. What was going on? What was even happening? Izuku must have drained himself so bad that his quirk must have put him in some sort of comatose state. How is this even possible? What's going on? Izuku would be within his own mind, hurting, thinking, realizing. He begins to look beyond just the scope of hero work, look beyond just the scope of what's in front of him. Izuku would realize something, that all of these people, they're hurt, they're destroyed. He has the power to be judgment itself, but he also has the power to make every single prayer come true. At least that's what it seems to him, and that's what it feels like within him. He's not sure how this would even work, but during this time of sleep and comatose state, his power would build up, his strength would build up. Days would turn into weeks. Izuku would miss almost everything. They would believe that he would never wake up. Doctors had no clue what the hell was going on, and really nobody did at all. Immediately though, Shigaraki, Oboro would begin to basically go through interviews or interrogations, mostly Shigaraki. Oboro not knowing what the hell anything that happened, but somehow he was healed entirely, his mind wasn't bended, and he was just fine. He was the same person that he was when he left. He might be a technical adult, but maybe he has a bit of a childhood mindset, or at least the mindset of someone that's in their teens. But how is this possible? They would interview Shigaraki, and Shigaraki would explain everything that occurred, the person that he was, and also who he was working with. he would say that that's all over now. He doesn't feel the need to do such a thing, and that young child or that young boy helped him, made him whole again. He was broken just like him, but now he's not. Izuku may have helped those people, but at what cost to himself? The UA Sports Festival would pass. So would the internships. Soon, things would fall back into place, and things wouldn't even occur, frankly. The attack on Hosu City would never occur at all, and many other things would just be null and void without Shigaraki there. All for One would feel as if his plan somehow got shot in the foot. He's so used to basically knowing everything before anyone else could even figure it out, but now it's as if his plan has a major hiccup. He doesn't know what to do, but one day he decides that he'll go visit Shigaraki. They don't have him in a technical prison. They have Shigaraki in some sort of rehabilitation center. Shigaraki would sit up at night, but he would sit up at night because he would have these terrifying nightmares. He would revert back to that younger man he once was. There's still fear within him, and he's worried that that other version of himself is going to come back. Not only that though, he's worried about someone else, something else. Shigaraki is worried about All for One. Just as he looks out the window, he sees a silhouette walking toward the area he's currently in, and he hears the screams of people and a person, more and more people, one after another, die. All for One has entered the building and is now approaching the area where Shigaraki currently is. The heroes are currently converging on the area as they speak, and currently converging because they knew something like this would happen. They had a good feeling because they knew how important Shigaraki was to All for One. Of course, they didn't know it would happen this early, and they didn't know it would happen in a matter of, days or weeks, maybe months or something, but it seems like All for One didn't even plan at all. He just immediately went and headed over to get Shigaraki. When he would enter the building, he would kill person after person, eventually leading him to the room that Shigaraki is currently, living in. Shigaraki would back toward the wall, but immediately be ready for a fight. Shigaraki tells him that he needs to get the hell out of here right now, or else. Of course, All for One continues to walk forward and laugh at Shigaraki, telling him that he's just going to become one of their many experiments, and they'll need his quirk for a whole new thing. He didn't expect things to happen this way. He expected Shigaraki to take the mantle and eventually become so powerful that they wouldn't even recognize him. But of course, it ended like this. Shigaraki cracked under the pressure and fell to what? Some hero talking to him? What kind of bullshit is that? Shigaraki is completely shocked at the words that are being said and begins to slam his hand on the ground as it begins to crack underneath All for One. All for One reaches his hand out and it begins to send tendrils toward Shigaraki, but just as it does, a hole gets busted through the wall as All Might comes soaring in, landing a punch to All for One, sending him flying out into the city. All for One jumps back toward All for One to continue the fight, and the clash between Titans begins. All Might and All for One begin to brawl, fight basically all out. All Might slightly stronger than he would be in canon because he didn't have to go through that stress that he did through the USJ originally. But All for One has a plan in mind, knowing that most likely All Might would have shown up. He's ready for this, and he's ready for a fight. The clash between these two titans begins to send shockwaves. Other heroes are forced to just watch. They're not able to even help. But back at UA, Recovery Girl is currently sitting in her office watching, All Might fight All for One, and she's staring at the screen while Izuku lays there still in a comatose state. But it seems like every punch every single punch that goes on during this fight, Izuku himself is reacting to now. But Recovery Girl has no idea what's going to happen. Izuku begins to emit this black and white aura of some sorts, half and half. He immediately, though, just calms down. It absorbs back in his body, but then it covers him instantly, and Recovery Girl hears a large thump, but then runs in the room to see nobody is there. Izuku is gone. Recovery Girl begins to call the other heroes currently at UA to keep on high alert and see where Izuku went, but just as she's saying this, she looks at the screen. Izuku Midoriya is on the battlefield, currently in his hero outfit, staring down All For One. Izuku will then hovers over toward All For One and immediately grabs him, slamming him to the ground. All Might tells the young Izuku to calm down, that whatever's going on, he needs to let him handle it. Izuku says that he doesn't care. He'll help All Might defeat All For One, and he'll take whatever repercussions are ahead. Izuku reaches out his hand as all of this black mist begins to swarm All For One, pinning him to the ground. It begins to constrict him, pushing him toward the ground, basically seeping him deeper and deeper to the point where his head is the only thing outside. Izuku walks up, pulling the mask off of All For One, and steps on his face, and eventually grabbing his face as well and forcing him to pass out entirely. Izuku would then head towards Shigaraki and ask if he's okay. Shigaraki luckily is fine, and Izuku would then walk out the hole in the building as heroes begin to surround him and many others. Izuku tells them that this opened his eye. He's heard the bad, he's heard the good, and it seems like he's heard it all, and he's over it. He's tired of all of these constrictions or restrictions that are on him. He's tired of feeling as if there needs to be a burden upon hero society. But he believes that everything could be lifted. Everything could be taken care of. Izuku begins to lift All For One using his power, and a white aura appears around him, and in a matter of seconds, All For One is laying on the ground, but awake, and his personality is entirely different. Izuku stripped away all the anger, stripped away all of the horrible things All For One wanted to do, and now made him into a proper person of society, blessed him with what Izuku believes his family maybe would have wanted in the past. Izuku tells and looks at all the heroes as he says that he could fix everything. He could change it all. He may have been cursed himself, but his quirk is a blessing. Izuku tells them all that if they try to stop him, that it will become an issue, that it will become a problem, because he knows what he has to do now. He can fix hero society and fix every single villain out there. In a matter of seconds, Izuku is covered by his own aura, a dark misty aura and a white misty aura, and immediately would disappear into nothingness. Everybody would be shocked and not knowing where Izuku even went, but he's out on his own in a new place, and a place that he can hold out for a little bit. Izuku has made his decision. That now with this quirk, he needs to use it. He needs to use the blessing that he can give to everyone in this world and create a world with just peace. Will that even work? Is he even able to do something like that? What kind of strain would this put on Izuku, especially being a young kid? He's putting a burden on himself that nobody in this world would even want to put upon themselves. But he decided to do it anyways. He wants to fix everything, and it all starts now. And it all starts with one overhaul. Someone he's figured out and learned of throughout this time, and he figured out the locations and everywhere he needs to be. But is time ticking on Izuku? What are the repercussions of his quirk? Curse and bless. How is he supposed to manage both of these? He's overwhelmed himself with the curse power and even the bless power, making super villains that were on the brink of basically wanting everybody to die, now somehow back to a stable person in society? How did he do this? And what type of things are in wake of Izuku's power? Of course, the Shihazaikai is the next step. But will he fall off that cliff after he takes that next step? Find out in the finale, or the next part of What If Deku had a curse and bless quirk. If y'all enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave a sub, all that good stuff. And as always, I hope y'all did enjoy, and I hope all of y'all have an amazing day. Later.